Yeah, ArborWorks is a vegetation management company. Our primary customer is the utility, but we also service multiple agencies across the West Coast. And recently on the West Coast, we've suffered multiple fires for several years now. After a fire goes through and firefighters have been able to do their job, thankful for them, we go in and mitigate the remaining hazards. When a fire goes through an area, a lot of people don't think about this, but as a fire burns through trees and vegetation, it never necessarily burns the trees down. It just leaves them dead, burned up, and just a standing hazard. Any trees that are a hazard to the utility lines, to structures, to the public, we go in and mitigate those hazards. Primarily and typically we remove the trees.
Overhead hazards, you're dealing with terrain, topography issues, loose soil, trees uprooting, trees failing in weird areas. We'll say not only at the bottom, but mid-tree it'll fail. You've got a bunch of lodge poles that are leaning against each other, widowmakers. It's like almost like a war zone, so to say. So you have to have situational awareness and a fact of everything and anything is a danger at that point.
Usually the general foreman is going to go out with one of his top guys to go scope the work ahead of the crews and kind of plan where they can get the equipment, what equipment they need to use to make it as safe as possible. So with felling these trees, we're doing pole tests in all directions like we should and normally do, but we're assessing it a little differently. We're looking at the base a little bit more, looking at how far the fire burnt up, is there any canopy left or is there not. Existing hazards, which would be the defects that they could have had before the fire or defects that were created because of the fire. These hazards aren't a matter of if it's going to fail, they will fail. And we have to address these situations carefully and professionally so that we can be as efficient as possible and remove these hazards. That way we know that the infrastructure that's now been placed back for these customers that lost either their power or their entire livelihood, their homes, all their property, have power to be able to start their life back over and rebuild or come back to what they knew was their home is now burnt, and now they at least have power to cook and to take showers and to run their well and stuff.